Want to find out what skill mods you should keep, or what skill mods you should delete, or maybe what skill mods you should be farming for? Well, in today's video, we're going to see what you should keep and what you should delete. This is LaserBolt, and today we're going to be taking a look at our inventory, and we're going to be going through all the skill mods, and I'm also going to be recommending which ones you should prioritize, which ones you shouldn't prioritize. We're also going to be drilling down on which ones I believe should be considered for PvP and which ones should be considered for PvE. If you like playing both mods, then you're definitely going to have to do a lot of farming in case you don't have them. So we have a ton to cover. Just as a quick side note, guys, if you guys didn't have a chance to check out the video where I go over what you need to do to prepare for update Title 5, highly recommend you guys should check out that video to kind of coincide with this video as well. But before we get started with the skill mod inventory management, I do want to remind you guys about our monthly giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Sekiro. So you guys want to make sure you guys enter and participate. To do so, it's super easy. All you got to do is click the link down below that says Join Bolt Nation. Once you do, you guys will be automatically entered, so good luck to everybody that's participating. So now let's talk about the inventory management and why it's going to be important to know exactly what to keep and what to delete now that we know that we have Title Update 5 coming very soon, which is on the 23rd. Now, it's very important now that we know the date because it gives us enough time to farm and to figure out exactly what we need to be looking out for and what we should actually be farming for to make sure we are ready when the update goes live. Now, for those of you who might be coming back to the Division 2, or for those of you who are new to the Division 2, I just want to give you guys a quick overview of what exactly is taking place in the Division 2 with Title Update number 5. We're getting a massive update to skills, and skills are going to be very important with the update, so you're going to want to make sure that you know what to be prepared for in your inventory and what to keep when it comes to mods. So let's go ahead and get started talking about what you will need to have. We're going to get started with one of my favorite ones, which is the turret. So what exactly should I be looking out for when I go to my inventory and I look at the mods that are available for the turret? Now, like I said earlier on the video, we are going to be breaking each individual skill with PvP and PvE in focus. So let's start with the PvE option. So for PvE, we're going to want to make sure that our turret has a really good amount of cooldown reduction. We also want to make sure that our turret has enough damage output, and we want to make sure we target extra ammo. So these are the three things you're going to be looking for when you go to your inventory and see if you have any of these mods. You're going to look for ones that have really high cooldown reduction, some that have really high damage, and some that have extra ammo. Now, if you're able to get all three in one, well, kudos to you guys because you have a really nice mod. But what you want to prioritize when going through your inventory, you want to see which ones have the highest one of each individual category. If you have one with a really high cooldown reduction, you want to keep it. If you have one with really high damage, you also want to keep that one. And you have one with really good extra ammo, you're going to want to make sure you keep that. In addition to that, you're also going to want to keep an eye out on seeing how much skill power you're going to need in order to apply that mod so you guys can know if you guys are hitting the mark or if you're not. Now, if you are going to be using a turret for PvP because it is pretty OP, this is what you should be looking out for. You want to make sure that you have one with a really good cooldown reduction, very similar to the PvE option. You're also going to want to make sure that you target one that has really good damage. But on the third category, you're going to want to make sure you're looking for one that has really good amount of radiance. Because ammo is not too important when it comes to PvP. You just want to make sure that you're able to target as many enemies as you possibly can at a longer range as opposed to if you were using this in a PvE scenario. Now let's take a look at the drone. Now the drone is another one that got a major buff, and the bomber drone is OP as heck. I mean, it just pretty much wipes out an entire set of enemies, and it's really OP in both PvE and PvP. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have your drone out because it will cost a lot of damage with both options, PvP and PvE. So what should you look out for when it comes to the drone? Number one, guys, we're going to go for the PvE once again. You want to make sure that you're looking out at cooldown reduction. Remember, the thing with skill mods is the faster you're able to get them, the better. So cooldown reduction is going to be always number one priority when it comes to them. Number two for this one, you're going to look out for damage. You want to make sure that you have a mod that has a really good high damage, because you want to make sure that when you send that drone out, you want to make sure it causes as much damage as you can. You're also going to be looking for another one that gets kind of a little bit overlooked, and that is blast radius. The reason why blast radius is so important in PvE is because sometimes the enemies seem to disperse or seem to be kind of stagnant in other places. So you want to make sure you cover as many ground as you possibly can when you actually send out your drone. And last but not least, you want to make sure you're looking out for durations. The longer you're able to have that drone out, the better it's going to be for you and your teammates who are also coming along the ride and seeing all the destruction happening in front of their eyes. Now for the PvP option for the drone, you're going to look for the first one, of course. Cooldown reduction, like I said, should always be your #1 priority when looking at skills. Number 2, you're going to be looking out for damage. You want to make sure you're causing as much damage as you possibly can, because remember, in PvP, there's going to be multiple people with a lot of armor and with little armor. So you want to make sure you're covering both aspects. You want to make sure you're outputting as much damage as you can. And number 3, you want to make sure that it has a really long duration. The longer you're able to use the drone, the better it will be for you and for your team. Now let's take a look at one that people have been using quite a lot even prior to the update of the skill mods, and those are the Seeker Mines. The Seeker Mines were really OP because you were currently able to have the cooldown to 10 seconds and people would be able to spam these. But the Seeker Mines are also getting a nice update with the new update, and this is what you guys should be looking out and trying to get. Alright, so now for the PvE, you want to make sure you get one with really good cooldown reduction. Once again, guys, cooldown reduction is extremely important for almost every skill mod, so you want to make sure you prioritize that. Number 2, you want to make sure you look out for damage. You want to make sure that that Seeker Mine is able to output as much damage as it possibly can for PvE, killing as much enemies as you possibly can. You also want to make sure that you look for one, this is very important, with extra mines. You want to make sure that you have extra mines so you have enough in your arsenal so you won't be running out of them if your cooldown reduction is too long. In addition to that, guys, if you do use a Seeker Mine as part of healing, you want to make sure that you look for one that has a really good healing mod if you guys use it for healing. Now let's take a look at the PvP option. For this one, we don't have so many categories to look for. We definitely want to make sure, of course, cooldown reduction being priority #1. And we want to make sure that we have enough damage with the Seeker Mines. Those are going to be the 2 main priorities with the Seeker Mine if you plan on using one for PvP. That's cooldown reduction and damage. Something that I'm pretty happy to report, guys, is the Fireflies got a big buff. So you guys are definitely going to want to make sure you definitely tap into that Firefly for both PvP and PvE. So let's take a look what you need to look out for PvE. For PvE, you're looking at cooldown reduction. Once again, #1 priority. You're looking at damage, and you also want to make sure you prioritize max targets. You want to make sure that you're able to target as many enemies as you possibly can with your Fireflies. This is going to give your Firefly a big boost because you'll be able to kill multiple enemies instead of just keeping it to a minimal amount of people. Now for the PvP aspect of this one, you're going to want to make sure you target a couple things. And this one is very interesting because for PvP, you use a little bit more things than you would for the PvE. So for PvP, we're going to be looking at cooldown reduction. We're also going to be taking a look at damage. We want to make sure we have those two. Those are big priority. Another thing that we want to make sure that a lot of people are using this in PvP and in the Dark Zone, and that is blind duration. The reason blind duration is so effective is because when you blind the enemy, they don't know where to look for, they don't know where to shoot, they're just completely blind, and that gives you enough time to be able to take them out. This is very effective when trying to kill opposite teams and or just a single player. It's a really good mod to have. In addition to that, the last thing you want to prioritize, of course, it is max targets. You want to make sure you have as many max targets as you possibly can, and this should make your Firefly pretty OP in PvP. The next one we're taking a look at is the Chem Launcher. Now, the Chem Launcher is something that a lot of people are using right now, but it's also going to be very important with the new update. Let's start off with PvE. For PvE, we're looking at cooldown reduction. We're also going to be taking a look at one that has really good healing, and we're also going to be taking a look at something that has really good damage. This is only if you're going to be using it as part of damage. If you're not going to be using it as damage, you're just going to use it as a healing. You just want to make sure you're looking at cooldown reduction and healing. If you plan on using the Chem Launcher for PvP, you want to make sure you're looking at cooldown reduction. You want to make sure you're being able to use this as frequently as you possibly can. and you want to make sure you're looking at healing. You don't have to worry about damage for PvP because you're only going to be using the cam launcher as a healer, so you're looking only at those two things: cooldown reduction and healing. Now let's take a look at the hive. For the hive for PvE, we're going to be looking at cooldown reduction. We want to make sure that we have our hive up and active as much as we can, because in case we need to get that revive, we want to make sure that we're able to get that very frequently. In addition to that, you're also going to be looking for healing in case you're using it as a healing aspect. If you have a really good cooldown reduction, you could definitely use this for healing, and then make sure that you have it for cooldown reduction. So it's actually a pretty effective way of getting two things with one. It's kind of like a little cam launcher and a little revive hive as well. Now the hive is not used in PvP, so I'm not going to be telling you guys what to look for, because I don't think anybody uses a hive in PvP. If you use a hive in PvP, let me know in the comment section down below that you use it, and I do want to know why you would use it instead of anything else. So just let me know that information in the comment section down below. I was going to mention the shield on here, but I decided not to mention it because I'm going to be working on a build for the shield, so you're definitely going to want to check out that video later on. If you want to make sure you get notified when that video goes live, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you know exactly when it goes live. I do hope you guys did enjoy this video and you also found it helpful and informative, and I want to take this time to say thank you, because I know you guys are going to smash that like button like you mean it. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes, and also I know you guys are going to share this with your friends and help them out as well, because they also need to know what to keep and what to delete in their inventory. If you would like to show additional love and support, do consider joining the Bolt Nation. To join, it is super easy. All you got to do is click the link down below that says Join Bolt Nation, and when you join, you will automatically unlock exclusive features only found within the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget WGATAP, and I will catch you guys on the next video.